Hey guys, what's up? In our previous video, we wrote this program to control the mouse pointer according to our gesture, but there were still some issues regarding the mouse movements and the clicking. So let's see how it was. Okay, here am I. Let's move this to side. Okay, so as you can see, the movements are pretty much flaky and it's continuously clicking. So we don't want that, and we want to drag also, so it's not working because it's continuously clicking when we are watching one single object, means the close gesture. Another thing is, we don't want it to click if there is only one object like this. We want it to click only if these two objects came closer and form a close gesture. So right now, even if there is one single object like this, it will still click. So if we don't have anything and we are only using only one finger, it will still click. So that's another issue. Okay, so let's see what we can do. So here we are. So let's start by fixing the movement issue. What we are going to do, we are going to create a dampening method. uh, what it will do, it will not allow the mouse to move very fast or rapidly. It will dampen the movement, so it will move more smoother. So for that we need uh, the previous mouse coordinate, that is, let's call it m location old, and for the first time let's make it 0 comma 0. And what we are going to do, we need another mouse coordinate, which is the result, which is the mouse coordinate after applying the dampening. So that we will call mouse look. So that will be, let's call that, let's initialize that with 0 comma 0 also. So basically the mouse dampening method will be like this: mouse look equals whatever the current mouse movement, mouse location that is detected by the camera, current target, we can call it target location, minus, sorry, it will be mouse old location plus target location minus mouse old location and damping factor. So this will decide how much smoother the mouse movement will be. So if we make this very less, means if the value goes, or we can make it, um, this should be actually, make it by dampening factor. This one makes sense now. So the more this value, the smoother the mouse movement will become. Let's say we make it 0.1. The mouse movement will be very smoother, but it will be very slower. We don't want that, because we want our mouse to be move as fast as our hand moves, but we also want the movement to be smoother, so we want this constant to be well balanced. So that we can find out by experimenting with this value. So let's create a variable for this, equals, let's, for the sake of this tutorial, let's make it 0.5. And another thing is, the value of this constant should lie between 1 and 0 should be between 1 and 0. So let's implement this. So here we are setting the mouse position. Instead of giving the actual mouse position, we will give the damped mouse position, which will be we can copy this. Let's copy it. Sorry about one thing, that this value has to be more than 1. So whatever value we give, we have to make it a damping function, we have to make it more than 1. So let's make it 2. Now it's fine. Okay, so we can copy this method from here and paste it. So this will be our uh, pre-processed, or this will be our processed version of mouse coordinate, and this is our target coordinate. So we can use this. Difference between the previous position and the current position, the target position, and and divide that by the damping factor. That will give us the um, processed mouse coordinate that we want. Let's put this in our. Okay, so here we have to, instead of cx, we have to place mouse location of 0, and here instead of cy we have to put mouse location of 1, and here also we can just paste this here. Okay, that will do. So we have applied our function for the open gesture. One thing left is, we have to do at the end of this, we have to store the current whatever the mouse position we got, we have to set that as our current old mouse position, which will be the m old m location of mouse location of old equals the current whatever the mouse location we processed. So this will set the current location as the old location for the next iteration. Same goes for this one. We just have to copy this and paste this. Nothing fancy. Okay. So I can just move this to. So that's it. This will make the mouse movement smoother. So let's check if it is the damping factor is good or not. Let's run this. Okay, something is wrong. Unsupported operation between tuple and list. Okay, so to make this function work, uh, we have to make these coordinate as, because these are right now lists. We cannot subtract values from list or multiply values to list. So for that we need, instead of list we can use numpy array. So here we can use np.a array, and this will create an array which we can use for mathematical operation. Array. So now we can use this. Let's try with. Okay, now we can see that the movements are much smoother, and it is staying in a particular location. So all we are left now is the clicking issue. So let's fix that. Okay, so let's first close this one. what we are doing here is, whenever there is a single object that is detecting, we are taking that as a click operation, and we are using this mouse dot press. But when we are dragging, the camera is still detecting one single object, and it is going inside this loop and keep pressing, keep sending this mouse press command. So we need a flag to tell the program that this mouse press is already there, we don't have to press it again. So for that, let's create one flag. uh, Pinch flag equals 0. This will tell the program that we are already in a pinch gesture or we are in an open gesture. So what we will do here is, in the open gesture, if the pinch flag equals 1, then only we will release, otherwise we won't be releasing the mouse again and again. And we will be setting the pinch flag equals 0. So 0 means it's not a pinch operation, and 1 means it's a pinch operation. So if we are in a open gesture, we will be checking if the pinch flag is 1. If it is 1, then we have to make it 0, because we have opened our fingers. So we are making it 1, and we are also releasing the mouse. The same goes for the close gesture. We just copy this and we can paste it here, and we can we will be checking for 0. If it's a 0, then we will be setting it as 1, and we will be clicking the mouse. So this will be our operation, mouse operation. So now it will only click if it will only click once, not twice. So let's check this. Let's run it. Okay, so let's try to click, and perfect. Now it is okay. Now it is able to drag. Okay, now it's perfect. So one another thing that is left is, uh, if there is one single object, still it is clicking. So what if, let me just minimize this and minimize this. So what if my I am sliding my finger and suddenly one of my finger goes out of the screen, it will start clicking. So we don't want that, because we were moving our hand out of the screen and it started clicking. So to fix that, what we need to do is, let me open that window again. We will be checking if this if it's a sudden click, means the two objects suddenly becomes one, then we will filter that. And if it's like these two objects are slowly coming together and forming a single object, then we will allow that to become a click. So how can we do that? uh, we will simply measure the total width of total area of the two object, and after becoming one object, the total area of that object. If those two are almost similar, almost the same size, not very the gap between those two area is not very large, then we will take that as a click. Otherwise, like this two object will now cover a large area, if we combine them, if we combine both of them. And if we suddenly close this, remove this object, the area of this will become very less. So there is a large difference between these, the open and the close, I mean the close and the open. So we can filter that easily. So let's do that. In this pinch 0 we will be using another if condition, that is, okay, first we have to check the xy coordinate of the detected object. Now, so before that, what we need to do, we need to somehow capture the previous locations of the two objects when we had an open gesture. So we can capture it in this block. Let's name it open x comma open y and open width comma open height equals, and this one will be the bounding box containing both of the objects. So it will be cv2 dot bounding box, and this bounding box will contain all of these coordinates. So it will be x1 comma, so it's not a contour, so it will be np dot array, and in this array what we have to do, first we have to create a list of list, and that inside that list of list we have to put the coordinates. That will be x1 comma y1 for the first coordinate, comma for the second coordinate it will be x1 comma x1 plus w1 comma y1 plus h1. So we are done with these two. We have to now add these two, comma x2 comma y2, and we have to give the last one, that will be x2 plus w2 comma y2 plus h2. So that's it. It will create a bounding box which will cover the both objects. So let's see how it looks. So we can see that if we put a rectangle, come on, if we put a rectangle here, we will be able to see. So here this one will be open x, this one will be open y, this one will be open x plus open w, this one will be open y by open h. So this is just to show how that bounding box will look like, though it's an optional. Something went wrong. Okay, so here I missed an parenthesis. Okay, now it's fine. Let me um, okay, now it's fine. Another invalid syntax. Okay, we will be dealing with this later. Okay, so here you can see the outer bounding box is now the thing that we calculated here. This openx, this openx and openY, openW and open edge, this one is creating the outer bounding box. So we will be calculating the area of this one, and we will be comparing with the area of the combined object. So if these two are very much similar in position and shape, then we will be considering it as click, otherwise we will be ignoring it. So let's do this. Okay, so we have this open x this total combining rectangle. So we have this values. We don't need this anymore. uh, we don't need this rectangle anymore. So it's just to show you. So now what I'm going to do is we will be checking the area, which will be w multiply with h. Okay, so the area minus the previous area, which will be this one, multiplied by wh, and this should be the difference between these two should be very minimal. Let's divide this with the old area. So this is the percentage of error or the difference. If we multiply this with 100, then we will get the percentage of difference. So this is the percentage of difference, and this can be positive or negative. So we have to use something called absolute. So we will be using the absolute of this abs. So absolute of the entire value. Okay, so absolute of this should be less than, let's say, 20%. So if the error difference is less than 20%, then we will take that as click. Otherwise we won't be taking that as click. So let's run this. Invalid syntax, where? Okay, so let's we haven't finished it yet, so we have to put it inside. And another thing, once we have verified that it is not inside that it's not complying with this rule, then we know that it's not a click. So we will be making this as 0, 0 comma 0 comma 0 comma 0, so that this situation, this condition never satisfy even after the next iteration, because it's already verified that it's not in click. It's already verified that it's not a click, so it will not retry to fix that, retry to find if it's a click or not. So let's run this. Open w. Okay, so it is not these values are, we have to make it global, otherwise it will not able to detect these. Okay, another thing we can do is we can make them here. We can paste them here. Let's run this. I hope it runs. Okay, something is wrong. Okay, so one thing is that we cannot, it's a divided by 0, so we cannot divide it by this, because it's a 0. So what we can do is we can use w and h, so it will make it simpler. Okay, now what is happening, it is still it's not clicking. As you can see, let me just move it to this side, move it to this side. So So it is clicking, it's dragging, but and if we do like this, it is not clicking. So even again if we do it like this, it's clicking. So it's fine, but one thing still is bothering me is that if it is not a click, why should we display this or move this mouse? We shouldn't move this mouse because we are supposed to move the mouse if it's the gesture is like this. So to fix that, what we can do is, hmm, let's close this. We can put the entire thing in else part. So the drawing rectangle and the calculation, everything will be in the else position if it is not a click. So if we put this entire thing in else part, then it will only move the mouse if it is a click. And if it will only be a click if the absolute difference between the old area and open gesture area and the click area is less than 20%. Oh, what happened? Oops. Okay. While I just have to move this one also. I think it's fine. Okay. Yeah. Let's run this and let's put this in my finger again. Now if I suddenly hide my this finger, it will not act as a mouse. And if I do it like this, then only it will click. So it's fine, and the movement is also smoother than the previous program, and it's able to drag. And okay, so uh, let's make this value 30%. Okay. Okay, let's just see. Let's minimize this again, minimize this again. Okay, so it's fine. Okay, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and it helped you a lot. And, and if you did, please give a thumbs up and smash that subscribe button. And I'll be seeing you in the next tutorial. Okay, I did that. Okay, great.